And outside, you have to have law enforcement officers. You're behind the gates. That means that we are not truly free. We're not truly free to talk about the issues that concern us here in this country. And the challenge to each and every one of you, now that you know, what will you do? You cannot claim ignorance. You have to stand up. This is a clear and present danger to our future. The future for this republic, the future for our children, the future for our grandchildren, the future for Israel. And what will you do? Will you be the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot that Thomas Paine talked about in December 1776, who will shy away from this crisis? Or will you take a stand and earn the regard and respect of all men and women, and especially our children and grandchildren? You know, I sit on the Armed Services Committee, and we're privy to many classified briefings. And I can tell you that a couple of weeks ago, we had some officials from the Department of Defense come in and try to tell us that the Muslim Brotherhood, who is now in control of about 78 to 80% of the parliament in Egypt, is working to establish peaceful relations with the United States of America. Now, this is the exact same Egypt that last week said that if we were to cut off the $1.2 billion of aid that we provide, that they would attack Israel, that they will cancel out the Egyptian-Israeli peace accords. Oh, by the way, the reason why we were concerned about cutting off aid is because there are 19 Americans currently being detained in Egypt under threat of trial and imprisonment. You know, history has a very strange way of repeating itself for those that don't pay attention to it. Because back in the 70s, there was a person called the Shah of Iran. And there was an American president who told the Shah of Iran, we will not support you. And the Shah ended up being deposed. And what happened in that country? It was taken over by the Ayatollahs. And then Americans were taken hostages and held for some 400 days. A year ago, everyone was clapping in euphoria, celebrating what was going on in Tahrir Square, talking about an Arab Spring. But there were those of us on Capitol Hill that said, be careful about this. There were those of us on Capitol Hill that voted against renting out our military forces in Libya. Because there were those of us that said, there is something else underneath the water that is fomenting what is going on all across the Maghreb, North Africa, through Egypt, and over now we see in Syria. And that's what's playing out. If we do not have courageous leadership in Washington, D.C., that thinks beyond the immediate and understands the strategic fight that EJ is talking about, because I read that document that they discovered, and this is a long strategy, a long plan. And it's time for each and every one of us to get serious about this. Jew, Christian, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative. It did not matter when those planes flew into those buildings in 9/11. It would not have mattered just this past Friday with the gentleman who thought he had a suicide vest and was going to go into the United States Capitol. A gentleman that had been living in the United States of America for 12 years as an illegal immigrant. When you walk out these doors, do something. The one thing they teach you in the military when you get into an ambush, do something. Because inaction means that your unit will be destroyed. If you walk out of these doors and you don't stand up for something, God save your soul. I don't know what more else you need to know. If you're afraid about them attacking you or castigating you, then you don't believe in the freedoms and liberties that we have here in this country. I know that they don't like me. I know that they're after me. But I just revel in it because I know that we're right and they have yet to see someone that will stand up to it. Join me in this fight. Join me in this fight. And join me to save the United States of America and to save Israel for our future generations. If you don't want to be a part of this fight, if you don't want to be a part of this fight, then let us know, and we won't count upon you. But you will miss out on the love and admiration of the children and grandchildren that we have. And you will miss out on handing them the great birthright that our parents and grandparents left for us. Now is the time to do as the Spartans did at Thermopylae when they stood on principle. And they said, very simply, take the message back to Sparta. Go tell the Spartans and strangers passing by that here, obedient to our principles, we lie. I want that to be my epitaph when I pass on from this life. God bless you.